Obviously, we suffer. There is sorrow in the world. We can see around so much conflicts, sadness, frustration, pain. And that is one of the main points in the message of Buddha about the suffering. But whenever we suffer, we think we have different causes for our suffering. We think it's because we don't have something, because there is a lack of something, or fear to lose something. I am afraid to lose my couple, my house, my money, my fame, my whatever. And all this cause suffering, sorrow. Buddha was in palace, and his father, as we all know, receiving the advice of the astrologer about his son. At that time in India, whenever your baby born, you bring an astrologer, and the astrologer say that this baby can be a king or can be a sannyas. And the father wanted the son to be a king. So, as we all know, he created a place, the palace, where he cannot see any old men. No old man was allowed to enter there. Only beautiful young people. And no death, of course. No sick people. In other words, nothing changes. Everything is permanent. And as we know, Buddha went out, and when he went out, he met an old man. He didn't know what is. Say, what is this? And he met deceased people, death, etc. In other words, what he met was an impermanent reality, a changing reality. At the end, his conclusion was that this world is sorrow, suffering, pain. We all go in the world and suffer. Everybody has problems. But we don't know why we suffer. And we think that we suffer because I don't have something, I cannot possess something. I cannot control situations. It's impossible to dominate things. It's impossible, in other words, to stop the flowing of the world of life. Life is impermanent, and we want things to be permanent, what we like. And our way to resist the permanent, to try to make life permanent, is through interpretations, stories we tell to ourselves. In some way, every one of us has inside a palace where we don't allow to enter any old men. In that palace, we try not to see, but only young people, nice people. We try that in that palace never enter even the idea of death. In that palace, in our story, there is no place for disease, and we resist them. We don't want our small Buddha see nothing related to impermanence. If a nice relation arises, we want her permanent, forever. We try to do everything in order to control the situation. If some nice situation appears, we want to reproduce it. In our stupidity, we want to live in our palace. In order not to see, we don't allow ourselves to go and see what is as it is. We protect ourselves or our small Buddha that he will not go in the direction of searching for himself. And then sorrow arises. Because reality is everywhere, even inside your palace. When your interpretations confront reality, reality wins always. When your stories, no matter how beautiful they are, your illusions, your dreams, meet the reality, will make you suffer. The drop cannot fight against the ocean. Always the ocean will win. So in order to be happy, the first thing is you have to accept life with his impermanence. You look for security. You look to keep your stories. But life changes. In your illusion will be an illusory happiness, very fragile, very fragile. Look for security in the walls of your palace is illusory. One day you will confront reality. And then arises the sorrow, the sadness, the pain. Live your life accepting reality. Embrace reality. Live with the heart of a Buddha. Live with a heart that is ready to jump into this flow, change of life, and change every moment. Go for truth. Go for reality. Don't go after a God that protects you, that gives you protection. Don't go after any theology that gives you a feeling of security. That is rubbish. It's the same thing like all the nonsense in the palace. It's another illusion. Go for reality, for truth at any cost. Don't look for a God that gives you promises, that promise you an amazing future in some paradise. Security, an eternal security. Commodity. Don't go after any religions that promise you commodity, beauty, all illusions. Leave the palace, leave your comfort zone in the palace, and go. You will discover that you don't leave your comfort zone, you expand it. You understand? When you leave your comfort zone, the known, your illusions, your stories, you go and you expand your comfort zone, but not the stories. You will begin to find real security in the insecurity. You will meet the unchanging in the change. You will meet the self. You will meet the background of life and jump into it, letting go into it. And then you found happiness, peace. But not the happiness that you enjoy or you understand by pleasure, because people understand happiness is pleasure. No, that is not happiness. That is up and down. It's a reaction to sadness. That happiness is only forget the sadness. To forget the sorrow is not happiness. It's the absence of sadness. Real happiness comes from peace. In your deep peace, you found happiness. Real peace you found in the fight, in the middle of the combat. Then you have an opportunity to find real peace, not the idea of peace. An idea of peace can be destroyed by the phone call. When you do relaxation in the salon, your idea of peace, and you say, Om, Om. And then your mother enters, come help me, and you say, oh, you disturb my peace. You destroy my meditation. You destroy my relaxation. That is only an idea of peace that can be destroyed. So don't look for the peace there. Look for the peace. Don't look for the peace inside the palace. Look for the peace in the middle of the fighting, in the middle of the combat, because that peace, nobody can destroy it. It's the real one. Go into life, jump into life to find there your happiness, your joy, yourself, the peace, love. Not company. Company inside your palace is another toy to distract you. It's a distraction. When you look for company, you look how to distract yourself from the solitude. It's not love. Love you found when you are ready to jump into life, to embrace your solitude, to embrace reality, because then you will find real things. In your palace is only to keep your commodity, to escape, to ignore. And everything that helps you to distract you, helps you to distract from reality, is inside the palace. Your stories, your dreams, your illusions that you create in order to maintain this palace of illusion.
How to awaken, if there is a way to awaken that freedom within you, is it, or it's totally something that is not dependent on you, or is there something?
Okay. See, we go back to the Buddha story. We talked about it before. We talked about it in the room, exactly. The father of Buddha, he bring his child to the astrologer and he say, your son will be or a king or a sannyas. And as I say, these are the two most extreme possibilities. One is king, full of power, etc., and the other is a sannyas, is other kind. So your son can be anything in the two extremes. And the father wanted him to be a king. So what the father did? He kept him in the palace, as we say before, that not all people enter, not death, not this. He cannot see nothing of the impermanent, nothing of the reality. But what the father did, in other words, he came from the idea that certain situations, certain circumstances can create a king and can stop the development of a Buddha. If you take it in the other direction, you can say certain situations, certain circumstances can create a king or can create a Buddha. And if circumstances can create a Buddha, that means that what is important more than to be a Buddha is to know the circumstances. If there is certain technique or method in order to realize God, that method, that techniques will be more important than God himself. No? But there is no circumstances that can create enlightenment. There are not certain situations that you can manipulate and create a Buddha. But there is only, we say, one. What guide you to enlightenment is freedom. Only freedom. Buddha become a Buddha, even he developing all the circumstances, but his freedom, out of his freedom, he choose to look for himself. That is the direction. So if you want to go for truth, what you need to do is to stay in your freedom. Never look for enlightenment. Don't look after lights or experiences or mystical. Look for freedom. Freedom. Now the question arises, how I can develop freedom? How I can... Freedom is intrinsic to yourself. It's part of what you are freedom. No guru, no master can teach you to be free. Because from the moment somebody teaches you how to be free, you are not free anymore. That is beyond the question how to do it. You talk about devotion, people say, how to develop devotion? And who will be the people who will teach you? But this usually doesn't work. Because what is beyond this question, how to do it, is an asking for imitation. It's like I say, how you do certain thing, you tell me how, I copy it, do the same things, and the assumption is that I will reach the same results. But when we talk about freedom, if I copy, imitate you, where is my freedom? I am not free. Freedom is you are what you are. You express yourself as you are, in your uniqueness. So, the way, the path of the master is how to teach you how to open your windows. But you continue to ask how I can pull the sun inside my room, how I can pull the light of the sun inside. And nobody can teach you, because this happens. It's a consequence, not a result. A consequence, natural consequence of open the windows. The sun will enter. So nobody can teach you how to be free. What can be done is to remove all the illusory obstacles that prevent you from your freedom, out of your self, of consciousness, express itself. And that freedom arises a desire out of freedom for truth, for the real, for the eternal. And be in that desire, because that desire takes you by itself. But freedom is your nature. Freedom is what you are. And you miss freedom because you miss yourself. To look for freedom is to look for yourself. So nobody can teach you to be free. But Master will teach you to open the windows, to open the doors, and the sun will enter. No? Never ask how to develop freedom, how to develop spontaneity, how to develop love. There is no how. Only remove the obstacles. It's there. It's there. And what I mean, move the obstacles, is simple, as I say today, to meet somebody. In order to love, you need to remove obstacles. You don't need to bring loves from somewhere. You need to put down your defenses, to put down all your barriers, your preconceived ideas about love, about the other, your conclusions, your thoughts, your past, to be in the present, to be in the now. And then what will happen? Love will appear? No. Then will be contact, a meeting. And you can really know love when you meet somebody. Not when bodies meet, not when minds meet, not when feeling meets, not when goals meet. People say, we have common goals, but that is a goal-oriented couple. What is that nonsense? Because both of you like ping pong, around the ball, all of you, no. That is a goal-oriented. No. Should be to put down your defenses, to be open, and then only you look and there is a contact. And when you contact, meet a being, then is an opportunity for love. But you cannot bring love. You cannot bring freedom. Remember it, and don't ask even how to be. I know that there are many books, sometimes based in psychology, how to be spontaneous. How you can bring how to make friends. How can you make friends? How not to be depressed? But today people need motivational speakers. Why you need motivation? You need motivation. Somebody tell you. It's incredible. Yeah. But these things should happen. Never pull the sun inside. It's not needed. It's impossible.